My dad would take us in his itinerant business, and when he going around the countryside selling his wares and so on. And so therefore we had no weekend. And then after a few years he were kind to us and he gave us a day off. So we had Saturday off, but we still had to go with him on Sunday. So I want to use that as an example for black Barbadians and those who believe that when your son or daughter achieve academic education, that's it all. I think that it is much more than that. That they should, if you are into some sort of other fields, handiwork, I think that you should always encourage your children to go also into that field too, just to learn that field. And I think that that is very, very important. So to end it by saying that, yes, it was the educational system that made black Barbadians who cannot venture out into the business field, because A, they had no capital at that time, and two, but because they were conditioned and the educational system was such that they always were conditioned to work for somebody else. Had the parents of the black Barbadian children, right, taught the trade of their parents or their father, then I think that situation will have been different. But I must say that it is changing now. It's changing now that more and more black businesses is coming up in Barbados. For example, in Swan Street. Swan Street was at one point in time, was a Jew street. That's what it was called. The Jews used to live upstairs and they had their businesses downstairs. And then came the East Indians in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s up to 1970s. East Indians were really running or ruling Swan Street. But now you will find that maybe over 60% of the businesses are black businesses because the East Indians have moved on. And their children are now educated, they are lawyers and doctors, and they are into professional fields. And they have gone into not in a small store where you are selling clothing and haberdashery and so on. They have moved on. The black Barbadians have taken on, and they are now into the business and so on.
The average, so real quick, the average after school for a person in the Aberdeen Heights community would be ballet.
That would be in the
film.
In the film, okay.
Would be ballet, football, be a bit of after school activities. There'd be stuff like maybe rock climbing, something really different, maybe some travel. After school in the village would be, if you're lucky, some homework, sleep, maybe if you can find something to eat in the house. So it is, I think persons need to realize that it is a bit depressing. Not really race, I would say more of a social block. That when you come up in a perfect environment, you almost feel like you can be anything.
So much has been said about money and what it can do, but anytime there is economic disparity amongst the people, you're going to find that people with more money would be in better positions to achieve things, and there's a certain level of fear that can come into place. There's a certain level of control that can come into place when people have money and others don't. And it is not unique to this society, but of course it's very prevalent in this society where you have people who have a lot of money and some who don't have money. And those are the people who own the businesses. These are the people who wield the economic power in the country, and it plays a significant role in race relations, because here in Barbados, it is the black man who is often the one with less money.
Right.
Most communities, the budget dictates what you do. So if you think about an average kid, you're coming up, you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's 40,000 or 50,000 to study over the course of 6 years, 9 years.
Yes.
No way. You know what?
Right.
I'll be a good technician.
There you go.
I'll study for a year or two, then I can help my family pay their bills. So there's always that. Okay, I have to go play sports. Oh no, I don't have gear. Okay. Well, maybe I'll play a sport that doesn't require gear.
Right.
Throw all my
Give me a
life.
soccer ball or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Give me a ball and a pair of boots. Versus if you want to do an equestrian sport, who buys
Where
a
you need
horse?
like a horse, yeah.
So I've watched that over the years, and I as the character and in real life, it has given me a certain outlook. But I think racism is the least. It still exists, but I'll say there's a lot of social prejudices.
It's just more economic. Than,
Yeah, they've
than
come forward more
race.
than color. Because I know a lot of white people that are poor and black people that are rich. And it's really the life they lead and by extension the provision for their family that dictates the success.
For me, it would be silly to presume that a person's business acumen is related to their race. I don't believe there's a business gene in any of us. However, access to resources, access to certain networks, certain trade routes, certain products, certain markets, certain levels of funding, I believe, is easier for some racial groups than for others. And because of certain advantages that a group may have in business, totally unrelated to their genetic makeup, those groups may appear to have better business acumen than some others, when that is probably not the case. It's more probably a case of they have a certain set of privileges that the other business people do not have.